This video takes you through the installation process of the To Samarkand app on Android. We pay specific attention to the permissions that you have to give to the Samarkand app for your Google account information. First thing is it requires a connection to Google Fit. That's most important because To Samarkand doesn't count steps itself. It relies on Google Fit to tell the total steps you took. The reason for that is that Google Fit is a nice place to aggregate all of your exercise and fitness information together and provide a summary, a total, various other things about all of your exercise for the day. And so you could use several different devices to collect step count, and then it puts them all together in Google Fit. And then this app will read this daily step count from Google Fit and present it as your progress along the Silk Road. So you must have Google Fit installed on this, usually on this phone, but so long as you have Google Fit in your Android account and it's active, then it should work. If you haven't installed that, it's best to cancel out of this, install that, make sure that's all working, and then continue with this installation. It'll work if you do it the other way around, but it'll be more confusing if you do this first. So let's continue here. This is a summary of all the permissions that this app will ask you for. And in the next screens, it'll go through some of these separately, depending on how it's set up. So the first two are Google information. They're your Google account information. Those are required for the app to work. That's why they're in bold. The app will still work. You can still look at some things, look at the images, look at the trading objects, etc. But you can't actually make progress on the Silk Road, unless you actually allow this app to read your daily step count from Google Fit. So that's the first one that's required. And there's more details about Google Fit in here. Now, this is information that comes from Google, and it tells you all the things that Google Fit can do. But remember, this app does not do anything except read your daily step count. It doesn't read any other information, and it does not store any information into your Google Fit. It does not change any data in your Google Fit. It just reads your daily step count. The second thing is your email address. That's the link between this To Samarkand app and your Google Fit. The email you use to sign into both has to be the same. You can have multiple Gmail accounts, but the one you use for Google Fit has to be the one that is in this app when you sign in. They'll ask you to sign in later. Now, there are two other things that'll be asked for. They'll be asked for actually separately. The first is to back up your progress to a Google Firebase secure database. That will appear on the Google permission screen because it's a Google service. There's a service provided for developers to store information securely and get it back. The reason this app stores into that Firebase database is that then if you change devices, like if you upgrade or you lose your device, or in some cases people have their device set up so that it erases app data every night. So if any of those things, this will restore it every morning when you start up the app. It'll go get your latest progress from the Firebase database. It is optional. You do not have to do that. It's just as an extra safety precaution. And the last thing is it anonymously logs to a secure database when the app crashes. If the app does crash, it helps me, the developer, to see what went wrong and try to fix it if I have a log of the crash. That will be asked for separately, as you'll see. No personal data are ever shared, exported, or visible to me. So continue. So this is the screen asking for permission to log a crash. Again, no personal information or unique device-specific information is in that log. This generic device information, so I can tell what kind of device and version and so forth is going on and try to trace down the bug. But this permission is optional. There's no effect on the performance of the app if you allow or don't allow, no difference. It's just a convenience for me. So of course I'll say allow. Now the next part you can skip this or walk through. This is a walkthrough of all the features of the app. I put this here before you actually connect to your Google account because you want to know what the app does before you give it permission to see your daily step count in your email. And so that's what this is about. So you can walk through this and see all the features, but basically it has your daily step count. It reads, puts it up in today, and your overall steps that you've made since you started are shown here, and the steps, total steps you have to go to reach Samarkand are shown here, etc. That's what this is all about. So I'm going to skip it for now. And then it's going to, one more time, this is required by Google, to tell you what Google Fit is about, just to make sure you understand what Google Fit can do, what it does do, and what this app does with it. So again, the same information is here about what Google Fit is and all the things it can do. Again, what this app does is only read your daily step count and show your progress on the virtual Silk Road. No changes are made to your data from this app. So here you connect to Google Fit, or connect to your Google account really, connect to Google Fit, and then it's gonna, it'll try to go fetch your steps, but of course it says, I don't have permission, so it's gonna ask you to sign in first. Make sure you use the same email account here that you use in your Google Fit account. And then here it puts up the standard Google terms of service. You can read through that if you want to, that you are agreeing to use the Google services to get this information. And so you don't really have a choice except to agree if you're going to use this app. And now it's going to try to go get your step count. Now, because the app is still not verified, um, which this video is part of that verification process, you won't see this in the released version of the app because I won't release it until this is verified by Google. But in case Google changes its mind or whatever, you'll pop this up, and then you have to go to advanced and go on to the Samarkand app. So again, you won't see this in the released version of this app unless Google revokes the permission. So now it presents the Google information permission screen asking for you for this, if this app can see all these things. So the first few things, of course, see your primary account, see your email, etc., are by default, because otherwise you can't use a Google account at all for this. So they're all checked off and you can't uncheck them. But the last two, this one is the Firebase real-time database. Again, it's necessary for you if you change devices or lose your device, or your device erases app data every night. You do not, it's optional. You do not have to do this. I will do it, of course. And the final thing is use Google Fit. If you don't do this, then of course Google Fit, the app, will not accumulate any steps and you won't make any progress on the Silk Road. So this is required for the app to work fully. So click that yes, and then you have to scroll down here and say continue. Again, this, make sure you trust, and all of that is for the pre-released version of the app. So continue. And now it's going to go through and fetch your steps. And it may take a while to do that. It has to go and read the daily step count and integrate them into the app